It is no secret that the older you get, the more you realize that this whole life thing isn't all it's cracked up to be. When you're a kid, adulthood looks like freedom. No more bedtimes, your own car, your own money. Everything should be simple. But when you actually get here, it looks more like bills, bad sleep, and having to confirm your finances before saying yes to plans. And that goes double for Gen Z. We grew up in what was possibly the best era to be a kid, and the worst era so far to be adults. Childhood was elite. We had things like Beyblades, early YouTube, the rise of Apple products. Now instead of Beyblades, we have taxes. Everything on YouTube is an ad, and Apple products went from being exciting to being slightly different rectangles every single year. The only things we have going for us right now is that LeBron is still in the league and air fryers. And that's why we're all here, making silly little stick figure videos online. And while you're here, you might as well subscribe. Unlike everything else, it's free.
Playing with my money like playing with my emotions. Wanna be with me? Hop aboard the roller coaster. Hop up in the whip and disappear. Hocus pocus.
Let's talk about snow. When you're a kid, snow is magic. When you hear the word snowstorm, you know it meant snow day, and snow days mean freedom. I remember those cold winter mornings waking up and seeing that it's like a foot of snow, and I'd turn on the news and wait for my school's name to pop across the screen, and when it did, it felt like winning the lottery. You're telling me if there's enough fluffy white frozen water on the ground that I get to stay home? Dog, sign me up. I hope it snows every day. And I wouldn't even understand why we'd have snow days. It's literally just frozen water. Why are we acting like the world's ending? And then eventually I would forget about all that, go outside for like 10 minutes till I get too cold and come back inside. However, now, as an adult, snowstorms just mean work. It means shuffling. It means checking your car's tires to make sure you don't slide in somebody's mailbox. It means making sure that your windshield wipers are left up from the night before, because if you don't, quite frankly, you're fucked. You're not gonna be able to go anywhere, and you can't stay home. Yeah, the schools are closed. Yeah, most 9-to-5s are closed, but McDonald's is still open. You gotta go clock in. And I gotta say, waking up and realizing there's a whole foot of snow has gotta be like bottom 5 worst adult experiences ever, because that snow is not gonna go anywhere. Someone's gotta clean it up, and that someone's gonna be you. And as soon as you're done shoveling your driveway or shoveling your car out of the snow, here comes that motherfucking snowplow to put you right back at square one. I swear, these snowplow drivers get some kind of sick enjoyment out of getting you stuck in the snow. I know they're just doing their jobs, but I swear I've seen at least a couple of them laughing and smiling as they're actively fucking me over. Now I gotta go grab my shovel and my already broken back and re-shovel the car I just shoveled out. Snow is a 10 out of 10 experience when you're a kid, and a 0 out of 10 absolute hell as an adult. Up next, we have jobs. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that jobs are ever fun, but when you first start working as a teenager, you get that first check, you're all proud of it and shit. Like, yeah, I worked my ass off for this $35.55. And it's not like you need a job. I'd say maybe like 9 times out of 10 when a teenager gets a job, it's to save up for something. It could be shoes, a car, a console. I remember using my first check to buy a PS4. Yeah, I said a PS4. I'm not that old, relax. Leave all that stuff in the comments. What's messed up to me was realizing that there were adults working the same job, same hours, with the same paycheck, but they were supporting their entire families with it. Meanwhile, I was buying VC and blowing it all on my characters drip in 2K. Be honest though, this nigga's fly as fuck. But as you get older, working shifts go from saving up for something cool to trying to stay afloat. You make money, you spend money, repeat. And the longer you work, the more it sinks in that most jobs are not designed to be fulfilling. They're designed to function. And what does that mean? I don't know, but it was a bar though. Nah, it just means that like most jobs aren't designed to be fun for you. They're designed to maximize profit. So if it's not fun for you, they really don't care. So don't go into any job thinking it's gonna be as fun as it was when you were a kid and didn't care about rules. Because the older you get, the higher standards are held to. And this probably sounds like common sense, but you'd be surprised. A lot of the people I work with today seem to have never got that message. And people love saying stupid things like,
don't love your job, job your love. So don't yeah,
love that.
Yeah, and
yeah, that sounds great in theory, whatever it means. But in reality, where we all live, the jobs that people love are either impossible to get or are paying literal dirt. I'm talking, you might have the best day at work and go home with a sack of pennies. So now you end up choosing between stability and no fun, or satisfaction and no stability. And neither option feels amazing. And the worst part I think about having a job is that even when you're like not working, you're not really not working. You can't ever fully relax because you're thinking about the next shift. Whether you're working as like a construction worker, you're working a 9-to-5 or fast food joint, retail, you're always going to be thinking about the next time you have to go to work. And now every day just feels like one long Sunday night before you have to go back to school. And speaking of school, school's up next. Yes, school sucks. That is not groundbreaking news. I am not the first person to say that, but think about how much it's changed. When you were little, back to school season was exciting. You got school supplies, maybe a Spider-Man folder. You're actually looking forward to seeing your friends. You had a recess, you had lunch, you watched movies sometimes. It all felt manageable. Actually, more than manageable, it all felt fun. Then out of nowhere in like middle school, school, everything just shifts. The math gets serious, the expectation gets higher, kids get meaner, you start waking up earlier, summer gets more fun, which makes school worse by comparison. Teachers start saying things like,
your high school teachers are not going to tolerate this behavior.
Then you get to high school and it's,
your professors aren't going to tolerate this behavior.
And then you get to college and your professor genuinely could not care less if he tried. There's like 300 people in this one lecture. You don't have enough motion to get in trouble for skipping class or leaving to go use the bathroom. And that's all because now you're paying to be there. You went from having to go to school for free to choosing to go to school, and you're paying to be there. And there's always gonna be somebody in the comments saying,
oh, you don't have to go to school. You could choose to go to a trade, or you don't have to go to trade either. You can just live your life.
Yo, tell that to my bills. Yeah, we can all choose to do different things in life, but at some point it's gonna lead back to having to work a job. All roads lead to manual labor. Any of you younglings watching, I'm not trying to make this video to make you guys all sad, but that's just the reality you're in. And last, but certainly not least, we have groceries. As a kid, grocery shopping felt unfair. Anything you asked for, your parents would say no, and you're thinking, we came here to buy things, here's a thing, let's buy it. Now grocery shopping is a lot easier with things like Factor. Factor delivers fresh, fully prepared meals to your door. Nah, I'm just kidding, still not sponsored. All right, now back to the video. It's the same thing like when you ask your parents for McDonald's on the way home and they say, no, we have McDonald's at home. Bro, no we don't. Leftover pasta is not now, and nor has it ever been, a McDonald's menu item. And even when you do get McDonald's, as a kid, it's fun. You have your Happy Meal, your little milk, your toy. As an adult, eating McDonald's or fast food, you can feel the calories entering your body and then not leaving. And that's the same thing with groceries. You have to read the label of everything you buy. Well, excuse me, I thought I was at a grocery store, not a library. And in either case, whatever you end up buying costs an arm and 2 legs. You can walk in with a budget and you will leave having gone over the budget every single time. You start realizing that basic foods cost way more than they should, and all the quote-unquote cheaper options are riddled with red 40 and other carcinogens. Yeah, that's a big word. Clap it up. Your boy's educated. With all these factors, grocery shopping has become one of the most expensive and dangerous activities in all of America. I would rather stand outside on Old Block at 10 p.m. than go to Costco. And I just feel biased because I am Gen Z, but Gen Z got the absolute worst of it. We really had the best era to be a child, and so far the roughest era to be an adult. Were there previous generations being drafted into war before they even turned 18? Yeah, but whatever. We didn't get drafted into war. We got drafted into inflation. The only thing we have going for us right now is that air fryers exist and LeBron is still in the league. Besides that, we're all just trying to figure it out. So in the meantime, why don't you figure out how to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you can get my sweet, sweet content uninterrupted every time I post. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys go outside, drink plenty of water, and have a nice day.